Welcome to Coast Vue, a show that every single day celebrates the men and women who are making coastal Mississippi such a great place to live, work, and day. After a stretch of really, really cold weather, finally started to warm up a little bit. I went for a walk this morning in the 50s. Not bad, a little cool, but it's supposed to warm up. And I looked at sort of the next 10 days, and it's going to be upper 60s, 70s for the next several days. Got some rain coming up. Thursday looks like 69% chance of rain, 87% chance of rain Friday. A little rain's not going to hurt anything, but I kind of enjoyed the cool weather. Some people are not cool weather people, though. I get notes from people to say, man, I don't like the cool weather at all. Light the fire and stay inside. Not me, man. I enjoy getting out in the cold weather, that's for sure. Hey, listen, we spent a lot of time the last few days talking about shopping local. And I came across a few really interesting quotes about shopping local that I want to share with you now. And then we're going to move over to my friend Nikki Moon, community leader and really for the coast, but over in Hancock County and Bay St. Louis in particular. And we'll come over to her in just a second. But here's one from Shop Local. Did you know local businesses generate 70% more local economic activity per square foot than big box retail stores? I love that statistic. Here's a quote from Anna Lapp. Every time you spend money, you are casting a vote for the kind of world you want. I love that. Coast of Mississippi, as I've said a billion times here, is a collection of incredible communities, each with their own special sense of place. And what creates that sense of place often are like local merchants and artists and wonderful restaurants, and so much is happening in each of these communities. And when we go shop local, we are casting a vote for the kind of communities we want. We are supporting the unique sense of place that makes coastal Mississippi such a great place to live, work, and play. Here's another one from Shop Local. For every dollar spent at a local business, about 80 cents stays in the community. Think about that. Every time you spend $1 with Amazon, and again, we talked about this. Everybody's going to do it. Some people say they don't, but then that box shows up at your front door. But the reality is we don't want them to not live in a realistic world, but if you can spend some of your dollars locally, you're not only casting a vote for the community, but you're almost guaranteeing that around 80 cents on a dollar stays in the local community. That's a powerful statement. And think about small business. Is really sort of the fuel that keeps our economy rolling. And here's one other, and I think it's a terrific way to kind of end this section of sharing quotes. But you can't buy happiness, but you can buy local, and that's kind of the same thing. I love that one. Let me say it again. You can't buy happiness, but you can buy local, and that's kind of the same thing. And I agree. It is definitely kind of the same thing. I can tell you what, local artists and merchants and others, restaurateurs and others would certainly say that it buys happiness for them when people buy local. That is for sure. Now let's move over to my friend Nikki Moon. She's got some real good news for her personally that I didn't really know about, to be honest with you. Just was not on my radar screen. But she is the former owner of the Baytown Inn. But what I enjoyed about the conversation that she and I had the first time is, for 30 years, she's actually involved in marketing in New Orleans, and she brings some terrific skill sets to this community. She knows the value of all these quotes that I just mentioned just a few minutes ago. But without any further ado, let me bring my friend Nikki into the conversation and say good morning.
Good morning from the Bay. How are you?
I'm doing great. Hey, we got a little, for people who are watching on YouTube or Facebook or SuperTalk TV, we got a little camera issue with Nikki. She's a little bit blurry, but her sound is great, so you'll enjoy this conversation. I know you will. But so tell us the news about Baytown Inn.
Well, this spring, it kind of, I think I did things backwards. A friend of mine told me about a house that was for sale, and they said, you really ought to look at it. This could be the house that would be after the inn. Well, I saw it and I fell absolutely in love with it. The best part about it is it's still in the Bay. I'm only a mile away. And it has a yard, a garden that is to die for, which is one of my passions. So I said to my buddy, the realtor, okay, let's make an offer. Let's figure out how much I can get for the inn. So I had two people to call, and one of them was Jim McPhail, who had said many years ago, I'd like you to call me if you're ever interested. And he said, let's meet. I want to buy it. And he and his wife, Catherine, have done a terrific job with it. I'm so proud to say that I sold it to them and that they're continuing on in a really great fashion.
Well, what I enjoyed about our past conversation and watching you and talking to people like Tish Williams and others, your passion for Bay St. Louis was, I mean, it still is incredible. And we'll talk more about that in just a second. But the role the Baytown Inn played in that community was so important in Old Town Bay St. Louis, and 12 rooms, and it was a labor of love, wasn't it?
Absolutely, labor of love. It's funny because he'd said to me at one point, well, who does your yard work? And I said, well, I don't mow, but I do everything else. And he couldn't believe it, that I was doing all of that and running the inn. And I said, but I live here. So if I want to work 14 hours a day, I can. And I did.
Yeah. So you're past president and board member of the chamber there in Hancock County. You were very active in coastal Mississippi tourism.
Still
as a
am.
board member. Still am, as a board member and as past president. And in fact, I mentioned just 2 days ago in a show with Michael Sunderman that I've been watching closely. So I got a note for someone that said, you haven't talked about coastal Mississippi tourism in a while. And I said, believe me, I've been watching very closely. I think that Greg has done a great job of coming in as chairman to settle things down. And I think, Greg Cronin, I might add, he has a lot of experience in working in the community. He's someone who really is good at developing relationships with board members and doing the necessary communication. And I think it's turned a corner. I still think, and I've said this many, many times, and this is not a position that I have coming from a position of conflict. It's just what we've learned during these last couple of years is that some legislative tweaks needs to still happen around the makeup of the board, maybe how many members, who appoints the members. We still need to have that conversation in coastal Mississippi, because what's to keep another dust up from happening? And every time a dust up happens, Nikki, you know this well, we are now internally focused, and we're not then externally focused on what really matters for coastal Mississippi. Yeah. And I've been really focused on that. I think having you over there in Bay St. Louis, having people like Paige Roberts and Jerry St. Pé and Greg Cronin coming in from Jackson County, we can sort of get this discussion around why this is such an important regional organization, why it's important for it to stay regional and not have this silly infighting between the counties. It's just sad that we got there, but we're not there at this moment, and I hope we're not there in the future again. But thanks for your leadership during these sort of difficult times.
Yeah, we've had some challenges, but Judy Young has brought in a great, fresh new approach. She does not stop. I swear, she is going every single day, including the weekends. Greg he's reached across the aisle, and all three counties are working better together, I think, than we ever have. From Hancock, we've got Jimmy Ladner, who's now vice president. He was on the original board in 2013, and Blaine LaFontaine is our third appointment. So between the three of us, we are all three passionate, yes. But let me give you $1 figure that will make the point of why this three county works. In 2013, the contribution from the 2% hotel tax in Hancock County was about $125,000. This year, 9 years later, we'll hit about $450,000. So that tells you that promoting this entire coastal destination has a huge impact, and it's working.
Well, there was no doubt that it would work. It had to work. I mean, if you think about it, what makes this community strong is that we're a region. We're a region that works together on so many fronts. But this region is an economic engine for the state. And tourism and gaming and all these hospitality components are what makes this such a great place to live, work, and play. And to take anything other than a regional approach would be insane, to be honest with you. I mean, coming out of Hurricane Katrina, as you know, I led the tourism planning efforts for the Governor's Commission, and one of our major recommendations was we had to move tourism toward a regional approach so that we can sell this region. We all now know and say coastal Mississippi, and it's worked. As you pointed out, I mean, the numbers don't argue the numbers, make a very compelling case for action, and we're going to move in that direction. I do believe that most people are on this bus. I do think there are a few people who are not still, but I think they're outnumbered now. And the reality is we can move this thing up forward in a positive way. And I'm really pleased with Greg Cronin's leadership. I can't say that enough. I think he's been the right guy for the job at the right time, willing to put the kind of energy into it.
Yes.
To one of the things that Michael Sunderman pointed out, and I've said on the show before, but this whole notion of a board micromanaging every aspect of what a organization like Judy Young is trying to lead, that's not the way it's supposed to work. And I think getting board governance back what it's supposed to be, I think is a step in the right direction.
We have got to be big picture.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Hey, when we come back, we can continue our conversation with Nikki Moon. We're going to talk a lot more about shopping local and the local economy and what's happening in Bay St. Louis these days. I call it a thriving, pulsating community. And upcoming Christmas parade, some other opportunities here that we'll talk about as well. We'll see you after this break. Welcome back to Coast Vue. We have my friend Nikki Moon, the former owner of the Baytown Inn, wonderful little hotel. I don't know how you call it an inn, I guess is the way you best describe it. And she's a consummate community leader. But when I read that last quote, you can't buy happiness, but you can buy local. And that's kind of the same thing. That's so true, isn't it?
Yes, it is. And, it's funny. I was talking to some other folks. I'm real involved with our Old Town Merchants Association. And if you think about it, when you buy from a local shop, a small shop, and that person lives here, I would bet 95% of our folks live here in the Bay. So the money that they get from whatever you purchase, they're going out and buying groceries locally. They're getting their clothes clean. They're buying gas. They're going to the farmer's market. So what you give them is going right back into our little area, maybe into just the Bay, maybe into Waveland, maybe over into Pass Christian. But that money stays on the coast. Walmart, no offense, but it doesn't stay on the coast anywhere. So buying local, shopping, eating local, it is critical all times of the year. But right now,
it's especially critical now. I've got a great conversation coming up next Monday with Jamie Bates, the photographer, and he also owns Daddy's Barbecue, and John Ray. And John Ray owns Gulf Coast Business Furniture and Supply Company. And they've worked together in a lot of ways. A lot of their work was kind of behind the scenes. You didn't really know much about it, but I've had them on shows several times talking about their commitment to the homeless community and the kind of things that they're doing in the community. But here are two local business owners, two local entrepreneurs that almost define their existence in giving back. And, they're just one example of many like them that are just giving back. I think, I tell you somebody I think about John Ferrucci over at Silver Slipper. I know that's not necessarily a local owner, but the reality is it's a small casino company that's kind of fighting and tearing in small communities across this country. Now John's got chief operating officer responsibilities across the United States and still lives in coastal Mississippi and still manages Silver Slipper. But when you think about that commitment, John's commitment to the local community, man, I mean, it's unbelievable, isn't it?
He never says no, never. If you just say, John, would you? He's there. What a giver. Yeah, he is just great. I can't say.
And all those employees who work and live in this community and buy into this notion of, we're going to be a better, stronger business because of our commitment to the community. True. And that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. So look, what are you doing these days, Nikki?
Well, as you mentioned, I'm still real involved with coastal Mississippi. Tourism is in my blood. That is my first passion. And the more I can do for the coast and, of course, for my town in the Bay, I'll do it. So we started it with coastal Mississippi and here in the Bay wanting to do more and make our communities more of a destination for Christmas. And so that's what we've been working on. And I figured I could turn my tourism passion into making us a great destination like so many others. We want people to come here, not go to Natchitoches, So that's what I've been working on the biggest part of my time right now. And of course, helping Tish at the Chamber in our Old Town Merchants, and I'm also kind of involved with our animal shelter too.
Well, I'm not surprised by all that. I really enjoy my visits with Tish. She's sort of this the energizer bunny that just keeps on giving. You know, she's so passionate about the community, and you know the role. I mean, she had a special role. I mean, you and I chatted somewhat about this the last time we came together, but after Katrina, the role that she played was so important, and the fact that she had foundation experience before she came here really helped her understand this multifaceted role that the Hancock County Chamber could play in the recovery effort. What y'all learned about each other, what y'all learned about resilience, what the community did to come back, and the continued role that the Hancock County Chamber has played in building a better community. I mean, it's incredible. You want to help efforts like that, don't you?
Of course you do. And it was through the foundation, through the community grants, that I got the seed money to build the inn. As others did along the Beach Boulevard. That was its purpose. And as long as you owned it and operated it for 5 years, it was forgiven. And I would not have rebuilt, I don't think, without that jump start. It was big.
It's real. It's very real.
All due to the Chamber's efforts. And I congratulate Tish for all the work she does.
So tell me about the upcoming Christmas parade.
Oh, my gosh, we've got so much going on. So right now we have a couple things happening before the parade. So we have, we started 5 years ago with wreaths hanging on every light pole, 52 wreaths. Those came from our realtors, the money. Well, this year they were looking a little sad. So Old Town Merchants Association purchased new ones with ribbons. Those are going up today. Also, at the same time, snowflakes are being put up throughout Old Town. This started with Hancock County Tourism working with the city, I think probably about 9 or 10 years ago. And snowflakes go on the historic trees. It starts at the Baytown Inn with a tree that's well over 100 years old. And then it goes and curves down Main Street to the Baptist Church. And it'll end up at the Shoe Fly next to the Chamber's new office. Individuals have also bought snowflakes, so they'll be paying for those themselves. But like I've bought some at my area, others downstate, and Nikki's, Valentine. We're all buying snowflakes to really get this whole snowflakes in the bay going even better. So that's going on now. They will be lit on this Saturday, Shop Small Saturday, and that all coordinates with our parade. The parade starts at the harbor, and it's primarily a golf cart parade. We have some of our great Jeepsters that are participating, of course, the crew of Seahorse, and rumor has it Santa will be here. We'll be coming down the harbor throughout downtown and end up on Main Street around 6:30 in front of the courthouse. And we have a choir led by Joy Mortons, who will be singing starting around 6 in front of the courthouse. And Hancock County is doing a gorgeous job with that building, by the way. It's absolutely breathtaking. And then the mayor will light the tree at around 6:30, and we are guaranteed to have snow. So there will be snow flying around the tree. Great photo ops. Santa the word is he is going to stay and take pictures. We've got photo ops around the community for people to really remember this weekend, and they'll stay up. So at Ruth's Roots on Court Street, at Social Chair on Main, at the bank right next door to Hancock Bank, there's a beautiful park. Gulf Coast Home is decorating it. And then H.L. Raymond Properties on North Beach. They'll all do these great festive lighted photo op places for you to go and have a nice family picture to remember your time. It's just like, I'm trying to remember if I've forgotten anything, but I don't think I have. So that's all this Saturday.
What's interesting to me is you're telling this incredible list of things you're going to do to create a Christmas spirit in downtown Bay St. Louis. I think about a Hallmark movie. Do you feel like you're living in a Hallmark movie?
Absolutely. I'm telling you, if you came over Saturday with this snow flying and the mayor doing his countdown to light the tree, you would say, yep, this is Mayberry. We got to put it in a movie. I tell you, our mayor though has gotten behind this. I love Mike Favre, but he is so pushing this whole Christmas thing. He's just been remarkable and so supportive.
It's so cool. You know, what's it? I'm aware of some celebrities that have moved to Bay St. Louis and others. Man, it's a popular place. One of the guys that I talked to from NOLA.com and the Times-Picayune has been looking to buy there. Josh Morgan, the top hurricane chaser in the world, bought land there, about to build a house there. He's on Weather Nation and got his own reality show, and that's going to reflect well for Bay St. Louis because he'll be doing live stuff. He does live stuff from Bay St. Louis. He just headed back to L.A., but he'll be back from now on because he's going to be a resident there. But you got all these unique people coming to town, and they can contribute in so many different ways. It's cool, isn't it?
It is fabulous. And then before I forget, we continue on in December. We've got stuff virtually every weekend. We have a nativity walk that's starting. That will be next Thursday. Beautiful. Oh, last year was the first year, and it's just gorgeous with all the shops with their nativity scenes throughout. Second Saturday of December, there will be a harbor lighting, and the mayor will be awarding prizes to the boats with the best lights. And then, of course, we have the oyster drop in front of 200 North Beach with live music in the street and this humongous oyster dropping at midnight on New Year's Eve. So good place to be for New Year's, too.
The harbor, coming out of Katrina, when the architects talked about maybe Bay St. Louis could have a marina at some point. People said, oh, there's no way we can do that. And then you have city fathers and others who said, we're going to do that. And now look what it did. Look what it did to the beachfront of Bay St. Louis. It's just added this incredible element.
And we're the only harbor, if you think about it, on the coast where you can dock your boat, walk a minute, and you're in a great restaurant, you're shopping, you're buying art. I mean, what a boost that is for our economy. Very,
very cool. Hey, we're out of time, Nikki, but it's been a pleasure to catch up with you. Thanks for your continued dedication to coastal Mississippi and Bay St. Louis in particular.
Pleasure.
We'll stay in touch with you, my friend.
Okay. Merry Christmas, Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you so much. This has been Nikki Moon. When we come back, we have Paige Roberts from the Jackson County Chamber. We'll see you after this.
Tell her hi.
I will.